Okay, this video is on Cummins CMI, and I wanted to look at this. I actually had a small alert go off on here. It's a little conflicting because it went off on a daily. But what I want to look at here right now is I traded this back in 2007, and this is, boy, I tell you what, all those years it really did really well. I remember trading this thing back here in the 30s and 40s, and I actually haven't looked at it much besides just a glance or two here or there over the years, and really not even that. So it's really interesting to me. I did actually really well on this one back here, and made a little money off of it. So anyways, let's see and look. What I want to do is I want to just kind of see this area. Let's go here. It's a little bit more of a solid area, and then next area up looks like 112, and then I don't want to get too much higher than that. Let's just stick with this and what it's doing right now. So we had this area here of support. It actually broke the 200-day and ran all the way down, and it had spent quite a few weeks in this area of support and kind of missed the trade. Look, it had a real nice run up from, let's say, 86 to 97, or 87, 97. Still a 10-point move. What a hell of a trade that would have been. And all these weeks it spent on here in support, and I just missed it. I'm really disappointed. That's a $10,000 trade, even just on 10 contracts. It's just a beautiful move. And so, anyways, what we're looking at now is we've had the earnings already come across here, and they actually were not quite as good. But I know that their forecasts for the next quarter we're looking pretty good. And I don't want to get into too much of all that because we just want to go strictly on what we're seeing on the charts right now. But anyhow, we had this consolidation range here that was big, and it came down and sure enough gave a real nice pop over here. And so now, what are we looking at? We're looking at this, the moving average here is on the 20-day. We're looking at it as it's looking like for the last week or so. It's consolidated for the last couple weeks, and I'll blow this up just a little bit because these are weekly candles. This is what's got me really intrigued about this one, is it's starting to pick up on the RSI. It's picked up really nice and still held up on the MACD. Even today, just barely anything, just coiling up. It's 33 cents to the negative, not really doing a lot. It looks like that it's kind of just been hanging out in this area, and usually, this would either break to the upside or collapse if we're going to do it. And of course, it's going to have something to do with market direction too. Right now, the market's been in that consolidation mode. I know that we had some run up last couple of days since last week, but the overall market has just been, up 200, down 200, up 200. So I'm sure that has a lot to do with this range that we're seeing. But what I want to look at before I put you into the daily chart is this looks like it's holding really close to this 20-day moving average, with a nice potential run back up to around 110 to $112, which would be a really nice upside run on this chart. So let's go look at the daily to see, and you'll see a little bit more of why I'm kind of looking. And this was one I have not entered yet, but I'm really considering it. I want to see how this thing plays out here. You can see for all these days it's moved around, just in between here, but it hasn't broke down. It looks like it's actually coiling up to move back, like I said, back up into this area. It's above this gap that had this little gap down here. It's actually just hanging in at that gap right now. And then the next area, obviously, like I said, it looks like it could fill this area here, which would be the next gap area, and that would put it somewhere right around, like I said, about 110 to, on the upstroke, 112. And so everything is holding up right now. So I want to see how this kind of plays out. And this looks like it possibly could be a nice push to the upside. So just one to put on your radar and watch. And what I'm actually going to do, it'll be easier this way. I'm just going to set an alert to let me know if we're breaking out of this range, and go from there. Because even at a breakout of 100, you still got a nice 10-point range. So you're really not missing anything. I like to give it that extra couple of dollars to confirm that we're moving up. And if it triggers my alarm, I'll jump into play immediately. This is one that's got, huge swings in it, and you can do really well on it. So you don't have to worry about if you're missing the trade. That's why I put these a little bit wider on here. I know the range is almost an 8-point range here, just shy of an 8-point range. But that's why I said, because I want confirmation. I want the I'll wait for the confirmation of either the breakdown, because then it puts you at from 92 back to 82. So that's a 10-point range this way and a 10-point range the other way. So you're not going to miss anything by trying to guess it right now and say, I think the bias is on the upside for this, from everything I'm seeing here, from the RSI, from the MACD, and from the moving averages starting to move up. Maybe get a little bit better a buying opportunity if it dips just a little bit before it goes. But either way, you don't try and guess it. You're going to wait to see exactly what we do here. And you could shorten your time frame if you want a little bit to try and get a little bit better entry. But right now I want to just see how this plays out, because this gives me a beautiful 10-point up range to a beautiful 10-point down range, depending on what happens. So this is a really, really sweet spot right here. So we'll continue to watch it. Let's take a look at the options just to see what it is right now. See if we can pick up any hint. Let's look at the March, and a little bit on the upside, bias on the upside. Let's look if we got any. Let's look into June, slightly on the upside here. Let's look at the April weeklies. Nothing. Yeah, a little bit here. And let's see if we can go out. I don't want to go out too far, but I just want to see if there's any action. I like to look for the numbers to see if there's anything. Okay, so it looks like the March, obviously in 29 days, like I said, you don't have to give yourself too much time. Give yourself enough time, but obviously 29 days is going to be enough to know which direction it's heading. And so it looks like the calls are stacked up a little bit, and the spread is not bad at all. You're at a 10-cent spread on here, which is really not too bad at all, considering the price of the stock and everything. And the one's just a hair out of the money here, not too bad either. A couple of bucks, and if you get a 10-point run from there, obviously now you got a considerable amount. So this would be $8 on top of the 2. So you're definitely over your 3 to 5 times risk reward on it. So I really like this a lot. I want to keep my eye on it. I've got the alert set up on it, and I think this is one you really watch. You wait for a confirmation on the upside or the downside, and as soon as you get either, you jump into the play with no hesitation, and you run it up for the next 8 to 10 points. Okay, good luck. We'll see you on the next one.